Hey there, party people. I'm Isaac, and I am investigating ring ruins.
And I'm Claire, and I am trying to make some kind of magical porridge.
And this is
Make That Game, where we pitch the latest,
the greatest
new video game ideas
that aren't gonna get made. I don't know. We're just idea people.
We're just idea people. We're just here to bring you, the listener, the ideas, and you're here to listen to the ideas.
Yeah.
Maybe be inspired by the ideas.
You're making these games.
And have a discussion about the ideas.
Yeah. Our cat's going wild.
Yeah,
if
she
you
just
hear...
launched herself. You won't, because you won't hear anything. Ideally, that's not our voices.
Okay.
That's my goal. That's my goal every
Yeah.
time.
But is it really a podcast if you don't hear an animal or sirens or...
I mean, I tried to put wolves purring on the podcast and it didn't even pick it up without any sound editing.
Oh, well, we're not a real podcast.
She is launching herself up and down the stairs currently. So that's always fun. That's a fun vibe. But yeah, Isaac, this is a podcast where we pitch game ideas. Do you have a game idea?
I do.
You look very thrilled about this.
Well, I don't know how thrilled
excited about
that I should be, because if we go back to the episode that I gave the tips on how to come up with game ideas,
good episode.
This is the take one aspect of a game and try to expand it into a full game. But I don't think I've successfully made a full game off of this. So a small little indie game came out recently. It's called The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, interesting. Tears of the Kingdom?
Yes.
Interesting.
Not many people have actually heard of this.
I have never heard of this game before.
It's by a solo developer named Nintendo.
Oh, you don't say. Oh, I've never heard of Nintendo.
The new on the scene, first game. But part of this game is diving off of high places.
Yeah,
and
something you love.
Assassin's Creed also does this, but none of them get as high as Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. And what you can do with Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom is you can control exactly where you're falling from such heights, you can get
such great
vertical
heights.
Distance. If you jump off of a sky island, you can end up landing a multiple miles away. So
the horizontal distance, you mean?
Yeah, what did I say?
Vertical distance.
Yeah, vertical is.
I was like, you're definitely gonna get vertical distance if you jump off an island. But yes, you will also get. Yeah, you can get horizontal.
All right, I'm going to say horizontal on its own, and you're going to edit that in over where I said vertical. Horizontal.
Great.
Okay. It would be funnier if you just left that entire sequence in exactly.
I'm probably going to leave it in exactly as it is.
So the idea of this game is that it is about jumping from great heights, and as you fall, there are rings or some sort of track that you're supposed to do. So you're falling...
Sonic.
No, rings that you go through.
I
not
actually
rings
don't
that
know how rings play into Sonic at all. So
continue. How in Kirby, the Kirby Forgotten Land, you have the flying courses where you have to go through, or you don't have to, but you get bonus points for going through all the rings. As you fall, there's those. So you're supposed to go on a prescribed path. And then you land, and that's the level. So there's different obstacles that you can collide with, and thus it would either slow your descent or stop your descent. You would break your neck against a big rock or something, or it would throw you wildly off course if you hit certain things. That's the kind of obstacles that you'd be facing as you do this descent to the bottom. The story, the setting, don't know, have not come up with anything like that. I just was
no.
Even though I hate heights, I was hey, this diving thing, that's really cool. I also like to imagine that you can fight things as you're descending. So you've got a sword, you can bat other people away. Maybe you're competing with people, or maybe there's just birds that will try to peck at you as you fly down. So maybe landing on a rock won't instantly kill you. You just smash the rock and you lose a heart, and then you keep flying down. But then there's enemies who are flying at you, and you gotta sword fight them.
So each level is basically a jump, is what you're kind of seeing.
Yes, each level is a jump. And then your real goal is to either get down in the fastest time or the highest score, hit like perfect it, like hit all the like rings, and maybe there's like side goals too, like depending on which weapons that you might be able to collect. Like if we're adding this combat aspect, you might be able to get like bombs or something, and like if you drop bombs, taking into consideration like wind direction is another like obstacle thing. Like if you drop the bombs just right, they'll hit like something later further down in the zone, even though that's like physically impossible because everything hits terminal velocity and like lands at the same time, if I remember Bill Nye the Science Guy correctly. But for the purpose of this game, you'll be able to drop bombs ahead of you, they'll explode, and like you might be able to like get a secret treasure, and then like
secret treasure.
So every level might have like, in addition to hitting 100% of the rings, there might be like 3 secret treasures that you have to collect, kind of like the Waddle Dees in Forgotten Land, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. So your goal is to A, hit all of the rings, B, do it as fast as possible, C, collect the secret treasures, D, survive all the way down to the bottom. That's probably A.
That's probably enough.
Now that I think about it, probably survival is probably the top priority.
Yeah, but also I think this is probably enough of game. Like I think you've got game.
Yeah.
This is game. I do have a question plot-wise. So do you see it plot as like, here's the tiers I'm going to give. There's Mario tier plot where it's like, this is barely a plot. There's Kirby level plot where you think it's going to be like Mario plot, but like actually there's a little bit more plot to it. And then there's also like Tears of the Kingdom plot where it's like, this is a game with plot.
I don't imagine it having much plot because it is about diving from high places and getting to the bottom, which I don't exactly know how you structure a story around that. I don't even have a name for this. I'm going to call it Jump Diver. It's Jump Diver, the game.
Yeah, so cool, Jump Dive. I think that sounds pretty fun. I'm actually really surprised that you came up with this because you are famously afraid of heights.
Yeah. I think it's interesting doing it in Tears of the Kingdom because there's no actual threat, realistically. Whereas, like, if I was playing Dark Souls, for example, if I'm on a teetering bridge and an enemy hits me and I fall off, I die. No matter what. I hit the kill plane, my character's dead, it comes up, I die. That triggers the fear that there's, like, a consequence to this. Like, same if I was doing it in real life, like there would be a consequence to me falling off a teetering bridge in real life. Tears of the Kingdom, no consequence. Either find water or just save just enough paraglider to land at the last second, and apparently from certain heights just smash with your weapon.
Oh yeah, I did that by accident and it worked. Fun tip, listeners.
No risk. And in fact, I wasn't even horrified. The other day I was playing Tears of the Kingdom and I swan dived into what I thought was a pool of water, but it was 2 inches deep and I instantaneously died. And that was just that wasn't like that wasn't like a fear trigger.
I also had a little oopsie where I just got really hype about diving. I was just so into it that I forgot to do any mitigation at the bottom. So I just hit the ground and just immediately died.
Incredible. Incredible.
But yeah, okay, it's cool. So you want a diving game, Jump Dive. I'm into it. It's cool.
Thank you. So I've provided a game idea to you. Do you is this a fair trade like ecosystem or am I just handing these out for free?
I mean, we are just handing them out for free, but
no, from me to you. Now, do you have something to return to me?
Oh,
I'm doing a weird segue.
Yeah, I understand, but I'm just saying that, I don't create game ideas because of reciprocity. I create them out of the love of my heart for our listeners.
Fair. Okay, yes.
Anyway, yes, I do have a game idea, sort of. So this is going to be more of a vibe check. I feel like we need a vibe check sound like vibe check. Anyway,
airborne.
What a vibe check means, it just means that I have not really brought a fully fledged game idea to the table, but I have something that we're going to talk about. In this case, it is a mechanic. It is a weather mechanic.
Oh.
So this is inspired by the rain we had yesterday.
We did have rain yesterday.
It was just rainy. And I was thinking, I wish it were not because it was raining real hard. And I think Taylor Swift wished that too. I actually just saw videos. She was literally playing in the pouring rain, like the sheets of rain.
Oh,
and she kept playing.
Like on stage?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I would have thought that stadiums had rain shields.
No.
Huh.
Not this one.
You learn something new every day.
Not in Massachusetts. Anyway, so sheets of rain. And I was like, I wish it wasn't this rainy. And I was like, that'd be a fun video game where you get to control the weather.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's basically the mechanic. However, I want it to kind of be like, and I couldn't remember the name of the game, and I didn't look it up because I think this is funnier. In my head, it's called Ocarina of Seasons.
Oracle of Seasons.
You
are so close.
I was not that far away.
You are so close.
Because I know there's Ocarina of Time, so I'm like, could there also be Ocarina of Seasons? Anyway, Oracle of Seasons is where you play. It's actually part of that indie Legends of Zelda line of games. Surprisingly, before Nintendo bought the IP.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't realize this part of the backstory. I thought that this was Nintendo's first game, but it turned...
Well, it's Nintendo's first game they've published.
Oh, they bought the IP from another solo
dev?
Another really small solo dev.
Exactly.
Okay. Named Capcom, actually.
Yeah.
Actually, I can't remember if Capcom was the developer or the publisher.
Well,
I'm pretty sure Capcom was involved in Oracle of Seasons. Yeah.
So I thought, because like in Oracle of Seasons, the idea is you can change the seasons and gameplay, and that different like things are available in different seasons. I haven't played it, but I've seen it played, and
Speed ran specifically.
So like really haven't seen it played, to be clear. But I do think it would be kind of cool if there was this weather control element, and it's kind of an adventure game, and you can only do certain things in certain weather. So like it's raining and you have to, like, certain bugs or flowers or something only appear in the rain, and certain like things only appear in the sun. But like it's also annoying to play in the rain because everything's like slippy and muddy and gross. So you don't want to do it all the time. And I feel like there's got to be limitations on the power, because if you can just change it willy-nilly, it wouldn't be fun. But anyway, that's kind of my vibe. That's my vibe today.
It could be fun to just change it willy-nilly. It all depends on the design. So like to a certain extent, limitations can create fun, or like they can create the challenge or difficulty. But like, unless there's somehow a situation where like, if I jump off this cliff in the rain and then in midair I am able to change it to sunny, like, this allows me to bypass some portion of the game. But that's also the stuff we love from GDQ.
That's true. I was gonna say, that's like prime speedrunner territory right there.
So the way that Oracle of Seasons does it is there are stumps that with a certain item you can change the weather from. So like there's specific locations that when you get a certain item and certain upgrades for that item, because if I remember right, each season is a different like gem that you have to get.
Okay.
So like,
I mean, again, I've never played the game. So yeah. Okay, sure,
so,
sounds good.
So that's the way that they limit it. Then like Ocarina of Time limits, like it has weather changing. You have to get a sun song and a song of storms, and that will allow you to kind of manipulate the weather. So like that's a little more freeform because you can do it just wherever. You don't need to be like where the developer intended you to change it.
Earn it.
Yes, you have to earn it, and then you just have to pull out your ocarina and do it. So you can't do it like mid-jump.
Right. I think I'd want it to be something where like maybe you do earn it, like you find like whatever, a stone or something that allows you to do it. So like you start with just sunny and cloudy, and that's all you've got.
What if they're consumables?
Oh, so you have to like eat the cloud pie?
Yeah. So you find or bake a cloud pie. You eat it and it makes it cloudy.
That's kind of fun. And then maybe it could be, folks, we've played way too much Tears of the Kingdom, because I'm like, oh, and then it could be for like different amounts of time, like depending on what ingredients you use. And I'm like, that is just cooking in Tears of the Kingdom.
Yes. And then, and then you make the environmental puzzles related to the weather. Okay. So like maybe you can cause a mudslide at a certain location, and that will reveal a cave.
Ooh, that would be cool. That'd be fun and cool. Yeah. And I think we can think big and like have like multiple like neat, like not niche weather, but you know.
There might be specific biomes which are like incapable of certain weathers. Like you can't rain in a desert.
Maybe it rains for like a second, like you can't sustain it.
Yeah.
It'll dry up. It doesn't do what you think it's gonna do.
Right.
That's fun.
And this sounds like an open world game.
It does sound like an open world game. Again, I mean, I feel like my brain is so playing Tears of the Kingdom all the time that it's hard not to think about an open world game.
Just pretend it's Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild. Just pretend it's that. Only the gimmick is eating pies to change the weather.
Yeah.
And instead of this Skyland crap.
Obviously, the story would be different. I don't know what the story would be, but...
So there's this princess.
Oh my gosh. No. No. Unless the princess is like the main character. That might be fun.
Oh, yeah. No. You're the pie princess. The pine stress.
Okay, well, that's what the game's called. It's called Pine Stress Weather Fortune.
Pine Stress? Weather Fortune.
Yes.
We nailed it.
And that wasn't even a rapid fire round.
That wasn't even a rapid fire round. Wow. Incredible game.
Incredible. Well, that brings us to our next segment, which is Isaac and/or Claire asks a question.
Well, so nobody's asking a question. Somebody did ask a question 2 weeks ago.
Not even.
2 episodes ago.
Yes.
3 episodes? Okay, 2 episodes ago.
2 or 3 episodes ago. A question was
about
asked.
Patents in video games and like copywriting specific ideas and stuff. And I did look into that. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm sitting in the middle of a room without a notebook around. I don't have my notes, so I'm going to do this off the top of my head.
Do you want to go get your notes?
I did not make notes.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay, this is a metaphorical could have existed notebook.
This is a could have existed notebook. I'm realizing in media res that I have mistakenly made mistakes.
Yeah. So this is funny because you thought you were ready to present this last week, and then I said, let's not.
Yeah. So anyways, all right. So I'm going to boil it down to its most basic concept. You cannot copyright a mechanic or an idea. You can copyright an expression of a mechanic. And I use copyright a little loosely, and I know that legally copyright and patent and trademark are all different things.
Yep.
You can protect, so I guess boiling it down, you can protect an idea. You cannot protect an expression. Or sorry.
Opposite, right?
You cannot protect an idea. You can protect an expression. So, Tears of the Kingdom example. There is a patent on the arise or ascend mechanic. And I looked into the patent a little, but it was written in Japanese, so I couldn't understand it. But it did have really cool pictures of like how the mechanic worked. So like you couldn't do it if the surface above you was too jagged.
I've learned that the hard way.
So they've created a very specific way that this mechanic works, which makes it an expression that they could patent. And now no other game can ever do Ascend the same way that Tears of the Kingdom does. But Tears of the Kingdom's Ascend is really just, and it's not exactly this, but in a way, platformers have forever had the idea of one-way platforms where you can jump from the bottom up and like not then go back down. Like Kirby games have this, Mario games have, like it's just a standby for platformers. Ascend is in many ways that mechanic, but with its specific expression of like, here are the requirements for you to actually be able to do it. Here's like, they show you looking up and then they have you jump through and it's done not necessarily through one-way platforms. That all makes it a unique thing that, you cannot produce in your own game. You can make it so that you can jump from the ground below as long as you don't do it exactly the same way Nintendo does it, or at least not the way they have patented. And, you can look at their patent and you can see how close yours is. You can talk to a lawyer about it. There was a couple other examples, like Tetris is a game that you can pretty easily copy 99% of, as long as you don't use the exact same shapes, I believe it was.
Wow.
Or, I don't think you can use like the Tetris song in the game.
Well, I think what's interesting about video game and copyright laws and all that is there is so much IP that goes into a game. Like you've got characters and story, which it can be copyrighted. I'm assuming kind of like a book, right?
Yeah,
or anything.
Like Link is is protected as
Under
IP
Nintendo.
in the same way as Captain America or something.
Exactly.
Like you cannot make a game that has
Link.
You can have a character named Link as long as it's different enough from any existing representation of Link.
Well, yeah, and that's just general creative copyright stuff.
Yeah,
it's like basically,
exactly.
yeah, like the biggest thing is going to be distinguishability. So like if they suspect that your work could be confused for the other work, whatever it is, in any lawsuit, then like that's going to be one of the biggest things that they'll be like, that's a violation.
Actually,
but yeah.
Sorry, I just thought of another example that I looked up. So Nintendo owns nobody but Nintendo can implement a like sanity system in a video game, because Nintendo had a game called Alone in the Dark on the GameCube or N64, I forget which one, where they had basically a health bar which measured your character's sanity, and as that got lower, the game would mess up. Like, it would act like glitches were happening, or like things that weren't supposed to happen would happen.
That's very cool.
Unexpected things happen. So no other game can do that.
Well, that doesn't seem right. Like, it seems like no other game could do it exactly that way, but couldn't they have like some choices don't become available for you? Or
so in a way, yes. I have played another game not made by Nintendo called Call of Cthulhu Dark Corners of the Earth, which did have a sanity system, but all that did was it made your character's vision blur as you saw scary things. So like they had a sanity system, but it did not like modify the gameplay in any way. It was effectively like a second health bar that, as if it went down all the way to 0, your character would die. The end. Instead of like make weird things happen in the video game.
I do think that's really interesting. I don't know. It is all interesting. And then, yeah, there's also the music, I think, is probably copyrighted separately. So whether or not they hire people to make the music like in-house, or if they like buy rights to a song, then, that's kind of like a separate thing. So it's just like a whole lot goes in. But it is interesting to think about whether or not you can copyright, like you were saying, like these gameplay design elements, right? And the answer is kind of yes, kind of no. I feel like it's very similar to choreography, actually. Like or recipes. There's like a lot of debate, and one of the reasons that recipes online have so much writing is because you cannot copyright a list of instructions, but you can copyright any of the surrounding material.
Yes.
So it makes it like distinguishable as yours. Yeah. Whereas the other stuff is SEO. Like, that's just known. But
yeah.
That's why, like, when you make a cookbook, like, I could theoretically grab a cookbook off my shelf and make another cookbook with every single same recipe. I just couldn't use any of the photos, any of the stories. Like, I'd have to write my own everything else.
And like for tabletop games, like you cannot copy paste rules text even if the mechanic is exactly the same. Like, that's the difference. Like, you can roll a 20-sided die, but you cannot copy paste.
I feel like if it was in a numbered list or a bulleted list of instructions, you could make an argument for copy and pasting instructions, because technically you cannot copyright a list of instructions.
Oh, maybe that's why no tabletop wargame rule books are
written like instructions.
A good format.
Potentially, yes. Well, I mean, this is a little bit off topic, but it does kind of grind my gears a bit, where I've been getting into like old D&D, and like I bought a couple older D&D books, and they're literally designed to be copied. Like, they like tell you how to arrange it yourself in your own notebook. Like, they're designed to be photocopied. They're all black and white, really clear. It's like very clearly designed to be used like that. And the new books, and like Isaac's
capitalism happened.
Yeah, they're literally designed to be difficult to photocopy. Like, they have so much background color and like background like graphics that if you photocopied it in any low quality, it's gonna look terrible. And it's like, feels very on purpose, and I doubt it's not on purpose. And it's this, I don't know, I'm torn, because I want people's stuff to be protected, but at the same time, I think especially when it comes to creative things, like, we all need to share, and like sharing is caring. But
sharing is caring.
I am interested too. I mean, this is like a question, if anyone knows the answer. There was an opera in Los Angeles. I think it only ran for like 3 days, but it was called Superflute, and it was an adaptation of the Magic Flute, which I believe is a Mozart opera, but the theme was Mario. Oh, no, not just Mario, Nintendo. So like Link was there, Mario's there, like Donkey Kong's there. And I looked at this description, and I was Googling, and I just could not figure out like how they were allowed to do that. I still don't know, because
Maybe it was only up for 3 days, so Nintendo didn't have enough time to get their lawyers together to stomp it out.
Yeah, I mean, so it also could have been charity potentially. So like the biggest thing, what I've run into in copyright stuff is like if you're not making money from it, it's harder to like even care about suing you, right? Because so like if you made a free fan production of, you know, a Nintendo thing and it was only one weekend and it was like for your friends or like for your school or your acting club, like that's probably fine. But the second you start charging for it, that's when like the eyebrows go up, like, oh, we can't do that. And so that's why I'm like very curious, because they were charging tickets. It was the opening show for the opera season, and I'm just like, but nothing on the website had like, they used the word Nintendo, but there was no like trademark after it, which I feel like is like suspicious. And there was nothing that said like this production is like blessed by Nintendo, you know. So
I guarantee that it wasn't, because Nintendo is notorious for shutting down even free fan things. Which is
why it's weird to me.
Yeah.
That this just got to happen and no one seemed to care legally. People did care in the sense that they thought it was cool. And I would have tried to see it if I was in Los Angeles. But yeah, I think, I don't know. It is. It's like this really weird gray area of like, how much can you really claim?
Yep. And I'm going to loop back to video games, because I have one more thing to note. There are certain aspects that are just considered aspects of like genres or video games themselves that existed for so long in video games that no one was allowed to patent them anymore. And like,
yes, tell me about this.
Well, I forget the exact example, but like there's just certain things like you cannot patent the pause menu.
Gosh, can you imagine if you could patent
you cannot patent lives, you cannot patent cheat codes, like things that if you had done it in the 80s you could have gotten away with it probably, but because video games were allowed to do it for so long, it was just like, okay, this is like open common license.
Well, like you said, it's like inherent to something being able to happen.
Yes.
Right. Like, okay, so I think about choreography a lot, because that's a debate that comes up. Is like, who owns the rights to dance moves? Like, it's moving your body. Like, how is that copyrightable? But you know, it's like if you tried to patent or trademark like running onto the stage,
jazz hands.
So they're not patented, but they are very much one choreographer.
Are they really?
Yeah, Fosse was like known for it. I don't know if they're like invented by him.
Okay, interesting.
That's a funny example, because it's actually like known where it comes from. No, but like running onto stage, right? Like just like dancerly running onto stage. You could not patent that, because then no one could get onto stage.
Well, they would have to walk onto stage.
But you could patent that. You know, it's like having lives in a video game, having like a health bar. Like if you didn't have that, you couldn't play video games. It just wouldn't happen.
Now, the thing that I would be curious about is, if we come up with any unique mechanics on this podcast, does the existence of these episodes make it so other companies cannot patent them? Like, if we came up with and described the expression of ascend 2 years ago, and then Tears of the Kingdom came out, and we saw that Nintendo patented it, do you think we could unpatent it? We wouldn't have the power to. We would need money.
Here's from what I understand, and so for the listeners' sake, I did go to film school, so most of my copyright knowledge is based on like film projects and like that kind of creative project. But basically, in the U.S., you don't need to file a copyright to have a copyright on your intellectual property.
Right.
So anything we say on this podcast, technically, we own the rights to those ideas. However, we do encourage you to get out there and make that game. So, you know, potato. But so technically we couldn't undo a patent though. So if someone hears an idea and they file for a patent and we didn't file for a patent, then we don't have a big case. Because like if we both filed for a patent at the same time and they're trying to decide which patent is valid, then we'd have a case, because we'd be like, well, this podcast was recorded on XYZ date and that was before the patent was filed. But if they already filed a patent for it and we didn't, I mean, we could still probably sue them for some amount of money. But we couldn't, I don't think we could take their patent away unless we wanted to file one in contest.
Okay.
I think. Now, again, I am nowhere near a lawyer, okay?
If you are a lawyer, contact us, because this is interesting.
If you're a creative rights lawyer, anything like that, please come on the podcast.
Yes, and talk about this.
I am fascinated by that.
And let's figure out if we can make enough episodes that eventually we come up with every video game idea, so no studio can ever patent an idea again.
I mean, at the same time, I'm sure we've come up with video game ideas for video games that do already exist, and we just do not know.
Most likely, yes.
Because I mean, the amount of games on Steam is incroyable.
That's French.
Almost. I said it weird, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Incroyable.
Well, I think it's time for our next and last ultimate bit. Our
ultimate.
Yeah, it's not a bit. Segment.
Yes, we are scholars on this podcast.
That's a She-Ra reference. All right, I have 5 minutes on the clock.
Man.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready.
Are we gonna explain?
Oh yeah, sorry. This is the rapid fire round. This is where we have 5 minutes to generate a game idea from only 3 random words. We have to come up with the title and the mechanics and all that good jazz. And yeah, that's what we do. We do it 3 times.
And if we fail, we still have not come up with a
We still don't have a fail case. We've only failed twice, though. So
yeah, so hopefully it won't happen
listeners,
again.
if you have an idea of what we should do when we fail and we don't come up with a game in 5 minutes,
email us punishments.
Please email us. Please email us punishments. Yes, thank you. Yes. Good. Okay. All right. Our first 3 words.
R, 1, 2, 3, go.
Consumer. Tile.
Okay.
Harm.
Okay.
I have an immediate idea based on things we're listening to right now.
Hit me.
So we were listening to a podcast episode about H.H. Holmes, who built the murder castle.
Of a podcast called Morbid.
A podcast
Cite
called
our
Morbid.
sources.
Yes. And the murder castle is like this basically like building.
A hotel built for a man to murder people in.
So it could be like a little H.H. Holmes, a little Edgar Allan Poe. We're like tiling people up behind a wall.
Oh, and a cask of Amontillado.
Yes,
okay,
and the consumer, we're tricking them. This is not a regular store. This is a murder store.
Okay, so people come into the store.
I don't know if I love that we're playing as a murderer.
No, yeah, I'm also...
Are you a victim and you have to escape the murder store?
Oh, so we use our words as like the setup, the plot.
Mm.
And then it's basically like an escape room, like horror video game.
Yes.
Okay. I like that. So, okay, you come into a store, you come in to buy tiles. It's a tile store.
It's a tile store. Yeah, of course. Why not?
You are knocked out by gas. You wake up in a room. Then you are able to escape somehow, and then you have to escape out of this, like, labyrinthine catacombs of a building to get built by the Tartarians.
Obviously.
And then you have to get back to the surface while evading the shopkeeper, whomst is... a psychopathic murderer.
Yeah. Who traps all his victims, and you'll learn like the lore. I think what would also be fun about this game is having, because it's in a tile store and tile is one of our words, is in the visual design, is like every room is made from different types of tiles, and it's all tiles. Like everything is just tiles.
And like you could have like the hints in the tiles. Like maybe this person is like
break
they
tiles.
make it a game. So like they have arrows in the wall, like in tiles.
Yep.
Or like different patterns that like indicate like, oh, purple tiles have spikes in them in this room.
And you have to learn this. I like that a lot. Yeah.
You learn the tile language of this freakazoid.
All right.
What was the name? Entiled.
I was thinking like, because like projectile, but like there's nothing to project. But,
yeah.
But like, is there any other word that ends in tile? Mercantile. Nothing.
This is actually a sequel to Mercantilism 1759 or whatever.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Okay, so
tile.
I feel like maybe we shouldn't go for a pun.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right. Well, then I have to say my last pun, which was escape tile. Escape till. Nope. All right.
Okay.
How much time do we have?
We have 2 minutes.
Oh, okay. We got.
I want some. So I said the word Tartarian. I'm gonna combine it with another thing. Reptile people that rule the world. This is part of the deep lore of it. Can we fit reptile in there somehow? Like the store owner, the tile store owner is a reptile who lives in a Tartarian building, and the Tartarians were reptile people.
Okay, so this is like just in the game universe of your Tartarian building game that you pitched?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that's the real world because the Tartarians are real.
No, they're not.
Buildings.
We don't do that on a podcast.
But...
we aren't part of the problem.
Okay.
The Tartarians are not real. The conspiracy is not real.
People did not build all of the good-looking buildings in the world using ancient technology that modern humans cannot reproduce. Fine, you got me to admit it.
Thank you.
Also, the Earth is flat in this game universe, not in real life.
Okay, you know what? Whatever. Reptiled. Because you get like tiled in. Reptiled.
Okay, boom. All right, 1 minute left. Reptiled. Horror, puzzle solving, escape room video game. Get knocked out by a tile store owner and have to escape their death trap dungeon.
No, it's a tile store owner who's a reptile / conspiracy theorist. So
yes.
That's part of it. All right, ready for our next 3 butters.
I am, and I'm starting in 1, 2, 3, go.
Face, contact, old.
Face to face, contact, old.
I was thinking like face off.
So I was thinking of like door knocking, like political door knocking, but in like old people homes.
Okay.
Right? Because that's like that's a big part about politics, and I'm not trying to make it political here. I'm just saying big part of politics.
There's no word that's politic in the, so you are making it political.
But like, it's very important and I'm thinking of this as like an edutainment kind of game.
Oh,
like,
is it a learn 'em up game?
A learn 'em up kids game to teach them why they need to go door to door. No, kids do not make good political.
And also, where does old come in that scenario?
Well, because this might, okay, I'm realizing that this sounds bad, but you can easily influence the vote of an old person just by getting in contact with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like people who live in retirement homes, and like, I could be wrong. This is just what I've heard from people who like do this stuff. But like, if you go say hi to them and say, hey, vote for this candidate in this election, 99% chance they will do it just because like you talked to them and they aren't one of the nurses that like gives them pills every day.
No.
Like you are just a human that has shown them some kind of kindness and warmth, and they are now going to vote for whoever you said without looking any deeper into it.
I'm struggling.
Okay, so we're going to throw that idea out.
Okay.
We talked about it for long enough.
I was just struggling with how it's a game. That's where I was getting stuck.
Well, that's why I said it's an edutainment, because it doesn't really need to be a game.
But we also don't want to teach children to manipulate old people.
Yeah, that's why.
That's why we're pulling it.
When I was about to say the justification for it, I was like, oh no, this is actually bad.
Okay, so moving quickly on.
We're
trading faces.
Okay, so we're trading faces. Contact, and what's the last word?
Old. Face contact.
Oh
old.
My God. Okay, so you are a person. Your face got traded with someone else, but now you have to find the person who has your old face, contact them, get in contact with them, and either get your face back or stop them from doing a bad thing.
Identity theft. It's like identity. It's called identity theft.
It's called identity theft.
Someone
has stolen your identity, and now you have to follow the trail of clues. Basically,
I think a cool mechanic would be...
You go through your contact list and find out who they've gotten in contact with, right? Because like they're using your identity, so you go to your friend Jack and be like, hey, have you talked to me in the last week?
But I also think it'd be kind of fun. So like in this universe, you can switch faces. So like part of the gameplay or like puzzle solving could be like, I switched faces with like a police officer so I could borrow his car. And
so it's like a mechanic where like now you can just...
I think that would be fun.
Steal other people's identities.
Yeah. I think that'd be fun.
Okay.
Is that too weird?
No, but it is adding a lot into this. So like we got to bring it back together. So like, are you someone who had because I think if you had your face stolen, but you are somebody who can just change your face at will.
Well, so I think it happened when your face got, because in my idea, it's not like stolen, it's swapped.
Okay.
Well, no, that's too easy.
Right, because you can just swap your face with it. Like you don't have a natural face if you're a natural like face switcher.
Well, no, but I mean like when your face gets stolen, then you have the power because you have no face.
Oh.
So you can take on any face.
Okay, I like this. Okay, so they've accidentally unlocked the power within you.
Yes. Exactly.
And now you can use this to get revenge.
And we can always say it's like you're not swapping, you're mimicking, right? So it's like because you have no face because they took your face.
Okay, so it just like clays into their... Okay. And so that's 27 seconds left on the clock. We have it. Identity theft. You solve a mystery by adventuring around the city, swapping faces with people to get where you need to go to find the person responsible for your face loss.
Woo! All right.
Or who stole your identity.
This is why I love this section, folks, because it really, like, we would never have come up with that game in any other scenario.
No.
But here we are saying it out loud to you.
Yeah.
All right. We are here at our final 3 words of the day.
All right. I'm starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. I don't know why I started from 5.
Completely confused as to what he said. It's good. All right. The words are swear, sandwich, and design. And I just first want to say really quick that we've done so many food-based games and they make me really happy. We even did one about graphic designing food. So I just think it's funny and now let's make a game.
Okay, but we've got to come up with something that like completely branches out of those ideas because like we got to the point where we just say the same one again, but here's the twist.
Games. So many food games.
So
but that's literally
swear, sandwich, and design.
Swear, sandwich, design. It's also funny because aren't Subway people called designers like sandwich designers?
I think so.
Oh, artists. No, they're sandwich artists.
Oh, okay. So, okay. Oh, man. I want this to be some kind of like knighthood. Like you swear an oath.
Oh, like the Earl of Sandwich.
That's the Earl of Sandwich.
But you are all sandwiches.
And you have a heraldic design.
Okay.
I was trying to like avoid the sandwich part, but either like sandwiches are very important in this universe or it is like historically based of the Earl of Sandwich or whatever, or what if everyone is a sandwich and that's just the character design? People are just sandwich people,
but there's no reason and we don't talk about it.
Oh, actually that would be really funny. Jousting would be like skewering the sandwich with a toothpick and like there would be an olive on the end.
So it's just like a medieval action adventure game for no reason ever discussed. Every character is a sandwich.
Okay, and there will be a lot of jousting
and
with
character
toothpicks.
Design. You get to design your sandwich at the beginning of the game, and you get to pick all the condiments and everything that goes in it.
And they give you different stats and stuff. Like instead of picking, I'm a orc fighter, you are like, I'm a roast beef with provolone cheese.
I love it. And then you can pick like part of that is picking your, like you said, like the where you're swearing your loyalty to. So there's like different kingdoms. And you pick where that loyalty lies, and then you fight in tournaments to...
Heraldry. So heraldry is important, but let's say the actual bread part is the heraldry. So like there's the Rye Kingdom, the
I love it.
Canadian White.
Kingdom.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So like, and then like when you change loyalties,
sourdough.
you change your bread, but your insides stay the same.
Wow, it's a big metaphor.
Yeah.
I love this. I actually love this game.
Yeah, like, okay, so like the bread itself is like the armor and clothes in a way. And like toasting gives you a defense boost.
Oh my gosh. This is a beautiful, beautiful game all of a sudden. Okay, we need to name it. We need a really good name for this game.
So I Am Bread is already taken.
Yeah. Earl of Sandwich is a good one, but it doesn't really make a ton of sense.
I mean, so it implies, like, I actually don't know anything about the Earl of Sandwich.
I don't either.
But I do think of, like, a knightliness. I do think of, like, medieval times. Yeah. That could be false.
Yeah, I don't know. I really know nothing either.
But, that was, if you heard that was the cat grumpily meowing as I touched her tail as she walked past. Okay, so,
how much time do we have?
We have 1 minute and 30 seconds,
okay,
but
cannot lose this one.
I can't think of how to like sell that this is sandwiches, like sword fighting.
Unless you call it Earl of Sandwich.
And that might not even work because Earl of Sandwich could be some guy in the 1800s.
Okay, what
like,
if you call it Earls of Sandwich defend the kingdom, defend your kingdom. Earls of Sandwich choose your kingdom. Swear. I'm just gonna stop.
Okay.
Well, name
you know what? I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna go Earls of Sandwich. Yes. So Yes, and then the plot is like the combating of the Earls, and I'm gonna have to look up what status a Earl is compared to a Duke.
Why don't you look that up while I do the closeout?
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna stop it. We've got 34 seconds left.
Beautiful.
And then I'm gonna look up what is an Earl.
Oh, we'll also look up the Earl of Sandwich specifically.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm going to start with that
All right, well, Isaac does his research. That is the end of our show. We hope you enjoyed listening. We are on social media. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook at Make That Game Pod. You can also find us on Twitch, twitch.tv/MakeThatGame. You can find us on YouTube, youtube.com/@MakeThatGame. You can also send us an email. Apparently, you can email us punishments that we can do for losing. And that's going to be makethatgamepodcast@gmail.com. We do have some exciting news, interest things, updates. One thing that's cool that I can't talk about too much, but I did get a closed beta key to test a game that exists.
Oh.
And that's really exciting. And
amazing.
I haven't tried it yet, but I won't really be able to talk about it until much later. But it's exciting and cool, and it makes me feel very, very professional. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is SGDQ, Summer Games Done Quick, is starting on Sunday the 28th, I believe it is. It's next Sunday, whatever that Sunday is. I think it's the 28th. And that is a speedrunning marathon for charity. We loved doing it. We love talking about it. We love watching it. I say doing it. We don't speedrun in it. We just watch it and enjoy it and participate and donate. So we encourage all of our listeners to do the same. Last year we did do a live stream the day of, and I think that would be really fun. But we are having Isaac is traveling that weekend. We'll also have a guest with us, so we shall see. But we'll be posting on our social media if that will happen. If we'll do another live. Basically, we streamed on Twitch right before the event, and then dropped everyone off at the event and called it the party bus. And I think it was really fun. So hopefully we'll be able to do that again. But yeah, I think that's it. Isaac, do you have your sandwich information?
So the Earl of Sandwich was in like the 1750s, so not medieval.
Okay.
So like Revolutionary War era.
Okay.
Like America was discovered.
Okay. All right.
So, not medieval, and also, there's a lot about Earls. It seems like it's about the same rank as Duke.
Okay.
So like, this game world would have multiple earldoms, each represented by a different slice of bread.
Okay.
And
they
would be warring with each other.
Yeah, and we can just say it can still take place in medieval times. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
We don't have to be accurate.
But if this isn't Earl of Sandwich, this is Earls of Sandwich.
Yes, because they're Earls and they're sandwiches. It has nothing to do with the man.
Exactly.
All right.
It's just a pun that depends on his name.
Right. So, with that being said, if you heard a game idea today, including Earls of Sandwich, that you think just needs to exist in this wide world, we encourage you to get out there and make that game.